college nerds, it's unreal.
This is just a little heads up before the video starts. The video is 11 minutes long, which is a little bit of a tedious amount of time to watch a class setup video. I am going to write the ending of the video, sort of my final decisions, in the information below. So if you just want to quickly find out what the classes are, just scroll down. If you want to find out why I pick those, carry on watching the video. What's up, guys? This is Adam from Got Gameplay. I'm going to start a little mini-series, and it's going to be a competitive series. I myself play a lot of GameBattles, which is a competitive website. I'm going to make a little mini-series on a few guides, tutorials on maybe how to play 1v1s, 2v2s, some of the better strategies, the better ways to play. Just for those people who are wanting to maybe start out in GameBattles and just want that little heads up on how to play. My first video is going to be class setup. The first thing you need to know about what to run, and what's going to give you that little bit of an advantage over your opponents that maybe aren't running as classes efficiently. The first class here I've got set up. I'm going to try and keep this as quick as possible. I know nobody wants to watch a really long class video. The first gun, the UMP45, in the submachine gun category. In this category there is 3 guns basically that are worth considering. The UMP45, the PP90 and the MP7. The UMP45 and the PP90 are very, very similar. The only difference between these 2 guns is the fire rate. The PP90 sometimes gives you that feeling that it's slightly better, because if you hit every bullet with the PP90, because of the fire rate, you sort of lean towards it because it gets that quicker kill. The UMP45, however, for me, I think the fire rate is easier to control, and I think if you hit every bullet, it feels like you get that kill just that little bit quicker. I think also when you put the range attachment on it, it has a bit more versatility than the PP90. I think with the range proficiency on the UMP45, it seems to be much more versatile at long and short range, whereas the PP90 favours the close encounters. So for me, I think I would go for the UMP45 over the PP90. Between the UMP45 and the MP7, on paper, the UMP45 should be the better gun, but the MP7 just gives you that feeling of you can win the gunfights up close and at long range. I think the accuracy of the MP7 at long range is outstanding, to be fair, for a submachine gun, and the fire rate of the MP7 is sort of unseen. Usually with something this sort of high damaged and high fire rate, the gun should spray all over the place, and the recoil should be almost impossible to fully control. Whereas with the MP7, especially when it's burst fired at long range, the gun is a beast. Personal preference for me, however, from coming from Modern Warfare 2, I am so used to seeing the UMP45 on my screen. I do pick the UMP45 over the MP7, but I know lots of the professional players have run the MP7. I'll talk through both anyway. The UMP45, for me, the range proficiency is what is needed. I think it just adds that extra versatility to it. Extended mags, I don't think any of the other attachments add too much of a bonus, especially not when comparing them to extended mags. So extended mags for me is the one. It doesn't matter what camouflage you use, unless you're a fanboy like me and you bum the gold. I'll quickly set up the MP7 class. The MP7, for me, I think the recoil is fine. I think at range it is very effective. So for me, I pick focus. I think, especially when you're up close, if you're being tagged up, if people are shooting at you, I think focus can give you just that little edge of your gun not jumping around. I think if it stays still, especially with the fire rate up close, focus could really help you get that single kill. So for me, I put focus on it. Arguably, the 2 best attachments are red dot sight and extended mags. Sometimes the red dot sight up close can slightly put you off, but I think the MP7's hip fire is very, very good. So sometimes if you have the red dot sight on, you have that sort of versatility whether to use the red dot sight at long range or just the hip fire at close range. For me, I personally use the red dot sight, and I would recommend the red dot sight. But if you are comfortable with the MP7 and feel like you can control the MP7 really well, I would put extended mags on. In respawn game types such as Domination, Demolition, Capture the Flag, especially if it's a 4v4 scenario, the extended mags can give you that little just that little heads up on maybe getting a clutch. The red dot sight obviously won't extend the mags. You'll have to reload with the red dot, whereas with the extended you can spray that a little bit longer, and it can make the difference. So for me, red dot sight, or if you're comfortable, extended mags. Again, any camouflage, I'm going to go for gold. In the assault rifle category, it's between the Type 95 and the ACR. The Type 95 did only for a short while though. It got banned and then it got unbanned, much to the community's disgust. I think the Type 95 is such a rage-inducing gun to use and to go up against. If you get one-bombed by the Type 95, you literally want to put your foot through the screen. It is outstandingly rage-inducing. Whereas sometimes when you're using the Type 95, it almost feels like they sponge 3 bursts. Equally rage-inducing. So for me, sort of the inconsistency of the Type 95 means I would lean more towards the ACR. I think the ACR has the accuracy, it has the damage. I think the red dot sight is nice on the ACR. Therefore, I would recommend the ACR. On the ACR, again, I'd use focus. The recoil, the range is fine. Put focus on it. It will give you that little bit of an advantage again at close range. Extended mags or red dot again. I personally would use red dot. The mags on the ACR seem to be big enough. Especially with the ACR, you tend to play a bit more of a defensive role. So you won't be up in people's faces. You can have that time to duck behind cover, prone out, reload, get back up and get back in the gunfight. So I'd recommend red dot. These red dots don't seem to help you too much. I would recommend the normal red dot. I don't really get these. I think on Black Ops it was personal preference between the reticles on the red dot, but I don't think these help you too much. I would definitely go for the normal one. Again, camouflage, whatever preference you want. Secondary, handgun, 44 Magnum. It is as simple as that. The deagle is just unpredictable. The recoil on it is horrible. The 5.7's recoil is horrible. I've seen people use the USPs. I've seen people use the MP412. The MP412 is awful in my opinion. But if you prefer the USP, if you prefer that sort of tinny sound, go for the USP. But for me, the 44 Magnum, no question. Tactical knife for me puts me off. Akimbo is banned. So if you can live with the tactical knife, or if you just want to aim down the barrel of the Magnum without being put off by a massive blade coming out to your left, or if you only use my blade, I'd recommend nothing on the attachment category. Jumping into lethal, it's the Frag versus the Semtex. Both are pretty useless in my opinion on this game. I'd put it down as simple as, in game types such as Domination, I would run the semtex simply because it blows up quicker. That is the simplest explanation. However, in other game types, I'd recommend the Frag. The Frag has that versatility of being able to bounce it off walls, cook it for as long as you want, not cook it for as long as you want, roll it round a corner to stop someone coming round. I know a little quick tip, my doubles partner does it a lot. If he's running with the flag and he knows someone's behind him, he'll just chuck a frag at a wall or just chuck it behind him, let them run onto it almost like a martyrdom, and then he gets away free, gets the flag cap. So for me, the Frag in most game types, but in Domination, maybe just consider the semtex just because of how quick it blows up. Tactical, Concussion, especially in CTF game types, you need to slow the flag carrier down. Flash grenades just don't seem to have the same effect. So for me, just go for the Concussion. I think both take the exact amount of time to throw, to blow up. So Concussion still for me. Jumping into the perks, it's between sleight of hand and extreme conditioning. Everyone seems to run extreme conditioning. For me, I wouldn't. That reason being is after you have run out of sprint for that first little sprint, it's useless. That means you are a perk down. Sleight of hand, however, helps you throughout the game. It helps you in every situation. Arguably, in search and destroy games, maybe just opt for the extreme conditioning to maybe get to that little spot quicker, get halfway across the map quicker, outrush your opponent, win that first gunfight. But in every other game type, I strongly recommend Sleight of Hand Pro. For me, it is by far the better perk. It helps you throughout the game. But again, my personal preference. Perk 2, Quickdraw, simple. Blast Shield is banned. Hardline, kill streaks are banned. Assassin, kill streaks are banned. Overkill is banned. Quickdraw. Perk 3, dead silence. Everybody runs a headset. Everybody has a headset. If you don't run this, you will get sound hoard. My only query with this is marksman. I have seen people in games like Demolition sit in a corner with marksman. Marksman allows you to see your opponent at distance. Their name comes up. It can be handy. I have seen people use marksman effectively, but I would still opt for dead silence. I think, personal preference, I'd go for dead silence. Strike package doesn't matter. Death streak, it has to be hollow points. Game battles seem to think that this gives you the least advantage, and I can see why. All these obviously can get BS kills. Juiced, especially in CTF, if you get on a death streak, you can sprint across the map ridiculously quick. But anyway, you have to use hollow points, so that's a no-brainer. Everything else does not matter. So they are the two classes that I would recommend: the UMP45 or the MP7 and the ACR. In this series, I'm going to continue with some gameplays. I'm going to put up some strategies on 1v1 Domination next. That is the 1v1 I play, and 1v1 Domination is all about the strategies. Even if you have terrible gun skill, I have won Domination games without ever being in a gunfight, simply by running on the flag, just running on flags. So I'm going to put up a little commentary, a little guide on that next. But for now, I will leave it at that. I will bore you no longer. It's been Adam from Got Gameplay. Cheers for watching. Here's some videos you might have missed. The top one is our very first video. It's a dual com with me and Paul, and we basically played a 1v1 Call of Duty and a 1v1 Halo match. Everything's explained in the video. It was our first video. The bottom video is Paul playing Minecraft. I think he just starts a new world and just goes from there. Feel free to subscribe if you're new. All our other little bits of information are in the bottom right. Also in future, we're going to be putting up some mystery videos, maybe some real life videos. There isn't one at the minute, but in future there will be.